Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 13 might be one of the most insane Boruto chapters by far, and there wasn't even any fighting in this chapter. It was more information heavy, and there's new information about Shibai Otsutsuki. Information on how Boruto and Kashin Koji started working together, and a new Shinju that is about to be born from a Thorn Soul bulb that has just gotten ready for harvesting. It appears that Kashin Koji has the ability to see the future or multiple possibilities of how the future is going to turn out. The name of this ability is referred to as Prescience. The reason he was able to awaken it is because Amaru used Shibai Otsutsuki cells to enhance all the Kara members. Each and every one of them had Shibai Otsutsuki cells, which were given to them in hopes that they were going to manifest some of his Shinjutsu abilities. But only Code with the claw marks, Demon with his reflective ability, and Ada with the godlike powers were the ones that manifested some of Shibai Otsutsuki's power. Kashin Koji was one of the Kara members that didn't manifest his power until the very moment that he was about to die at the hands of Ishiki. Having accepted that he had accomplished his mission of forcing Ishiki to resurrect using Jigen as a vessel and not Kawaki, in that same moment the Shinjutsu power of Prescience manifested and allowed him to see the possible future outcomes. He realized that he now has a job to do and he had to survive, so he summoned the giant toad to make his escape. He has to keep on going so he can use this ability to help Boruto deal with the impending threat. Although Prescience is similar to Precognition, you shouldn't confuse the two. Prescience is a word that shares a connection with conscience. It basically means having foresight or being able to anticipate, predict, or foresee the outcomes of the future before they happen. The main difference between Prescience and Precognition is that Prescience is when you can see the different possible outcomes of the future, but only in the form of visions or glimpses of the future. Precognition, on the other hand, is more specific and is more detailed about future events. You can basically predict what is going to happen, when, where, and how it is going to happen. The nice thing about it is that you can use it in a fight to figure out your enemy's next move and counter it. Prescience doesn't have the ability to do that. It only functions similar to Momoshiki's Byakugan that can see into the future. But the Prescience ability is more overpowered because it can see more than just one version of the future. So that's the main difference between Precognition and Kashin Koji's Prescience ability, as well as Momoshiki's Byakugan power that allows him to see into someone's future. This is just to make sure that everyone knows the differences between them, even though they are so similar. The Prescience ability essentially makes Kashin Koji the Doctor Strange of Boruto. Kashin Koji saw each and every one of the future events that transpired after his disappearance. From Naruto going into Berian mode and fighting Ishiki, to Kawaki defeating Ishiki using the Shadow Clone Jutsu. Even the fight between Borushiki and Kawaki where Kawaki was using Ishiki's powers. Kashin Koji even saw the village of Konoha going after Boruto for the disappearance of the 7th Hokage after Ada and Kawaki activated Omnipotence and switched the lives of Boruto and Kawaki. It seems like Kashin Koji was also affected by Omnipotence because he believes that Boruto was the vessel for Kara and Kawaki is the son of the 7th Hokage. Kashin Koji didn't just see the events that transpired after his defeat in the Ishiki fight. He also saw multiple versions of the future where events unfolded differently. There was an alternate future where Naruto was defeated and even died at the hands of Ishiki, who was then able to resurrect using Kawaki and eventually feed Boruto to the Ten Tails and plant the Divine Tree, destroying the planet. In another one of the outcomes of the future, Ishiki was still defeated by Kawaki even though Naruto died in that fight. Boruto and Kawaki later got into an argument after Naruto's death, and Kawaki ended up killing Boruto. Sarada Uchiha tried to step in, but she was also killed by Kawaki. After taking out Boruto and Sarada, Kawaki left the village and was eventually defeated by a no-limiter Code and fed to the Ten Tails, where Code then planted the Divine Tree and the planet was destroyed. One thing that is common among the future outcomes that Kashin Koji saw with his ability is that Jora, the leader of the Shinju, is going to kill Boruto and devour him, also planting the Divine Tree and destroying the planet. Those are just a few of the outcomes that Kashin Koji saw with his ability, and the common denominator in all of these future outcomes is that Boruto is going to die at the hands of Jora, and the Divine Tree is going to be planted. Kashin Koji telling Boruto about his Shinjutsu ability and choosing to team up with Boruto is to prevent the worst possible outcomes of the future and save the planet from the Ten Tails. As long as the Ten Tails still exists, it will continue to be a threat to them that they will never escape, unless they deal with it permanently. So Boruto and Kashin Koji's alliance was a result of the common goal that they shared of getting rid of the Ten Tails and saving the planet. That's also why Kashin Koji decided to train Boruto on how to use all of the jutsu that gave him the biggest advantage in the future outcomes that Kashin Koji saw. For anyone that is confused as to why Boruto would even need any training from Kashin Koji, bear in mind that the first time Kashin Koji made an appearance again after escaping Ishiki by using his toad summoning is around the time that Sasuke had just been defeated by Code and Boruto was on the run, busy trying to escape Code and get away from the shinobi of the Sand Village. Kashin Koji's toad found Boruto in a desperate situation and told him that he doesn't need to kill any innocents. Then Koji told Boruto to grab onto the toad, and it turns out that the toad is also artificial. It is a scientific ninja tool and not an actual toad summoning. Which makes a lot of sense when you consider that the toad was able to project the fight between Kashin Koji and Ishiki to Naruto and Sasuke in Konoha. So after grabbing onto the toad, Koji summoned Boruto to one of Orochimaru's abandoned hideouts near the Land of Wind. He was using Genjutsu to hide the entrances and exits of the hideout. This is further proof that Boruto is still about ninjas even though there are new threats like the Otsutsuki and the Shinju. Boruto and Kashin Koji are still using ninjutsu and shinobi tactics to navigate the situation they are dealing with. So this is how the current Boruto became one of the most formidable shinobi in history and increased the gap in power between him and the other characters in Konoha. Boruto used all the knowledge and information as well as the ninjutsu that Koji saw in his visions of the future to put himself in a position where he has the most effective jutsu in his arsenal and he knows what to do in certain situations or what to expect from his enemies. Without Kashin Koji's guidance, Boruto would have been much more weaker and he wouldn't have known how to deal with Code or the Shinju threat. He also wouldn't have known how to free Sasuke from the Clawgram tree because Kashin Koji is the one that knows how to do it. He saw the way to free Sasuke using his Prescience ability and is going to tell Boruto how to do it. The Shinju Stone Soul Bulb is what they need to free Sasuke, so Boruto has no other choice but to defeat the Shinju first before they can do anything about Sasuke's situation, with more Shinju emerging from that tree that keeps on producing Stone Soul Bulbs. Boruto's chances of saving Sasuke are ever so slightly getting more and more difficult. Not to mention that he was critically injured by Jiraiya in the last chapter and he was taken in by Konohamaru, who put him in chakra inhibitors that are meant to prevent him from using any ninjutsu. So now the question is, how is Boruto going to get out of this one? The fact that he won't be able to use any ninjutsu means that someone has to help him escape. So either someone in Konoha is going to betray the village and side with Boruto, or Kashin Koji is going to get directly involved and bust him out. If Kashin Koji doesn't rescue Boruto, then someone in the village is obviously going to get involved in his escape. That someone is either going to be Sarada Uchiha or Shikamaru. Shikamaru was silently working with Boruto and even speculated that Boruto might actually be Boruto Uzumaki, the son of the 7th Hokage. Even though he doesn't understand how that is the case or what led to Boruto and Kawaki's positions getting switched, he still understands that Boruto might be fighting for the village and he has Konoha's best interest at heart. So that's one of the reasons why Shikamaru might help Boruto get out of this situation. But there's a bit of an issue with that, and the issue is that Shikamaru is now the current Hokage of Konoha. It is not going to be a good look for him if he is found to be assisting Konoha's biggest fugitive and the supposed killer of the 7th Hokage. Shikamaru has to maintain the stance that he is against Boruto even though he has been working with him behind the scenes. So the most obvious choices are either Sarada Uchiha, Sumire, or Kashin Koji. Sarada and Sumire might be more than willing to betray the village on Boruto's behalf, because the two of them know that he is innocent even though the entire village is against him only because of omnipotence. They have no reason not to trust in Boruto or Boruto's mission because they know that Boruto would never do anything to betray the village. Although it's going to be a difficult choice for Sarada since betraying the village will mean that she might be giving up any chances of her becoming the Hokage in future. However, she's still going to be willing to take that risk for Boruto. So it's either Sarada Uchiha, Sumire, or Kashin Koji. Maybe Kashin Koji even saw Boruto getting arrested in one of his visions of the future using the Prescience ability, and he already has a plan set in motion to help him get out. So we'll see how things unfold in chapter 14 of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex. So now that Kashin Koji has the Shinjutsu ability of Prescience that allows him to see multiple outcomes of the future, why doesn't he just use it to tell Boruto how to get rid of Momoshiki? Surely Kashin Koji must have seen how Boruto got rid of Momoshiki in one of his visions of the many possible futures. Wouldn't it just be easier to tell Boruto how to do it so that the Momoshiki issue can be over and done with? To be honest, I'm happy with the choice that Kishimoto made of not making it easy for Boruto to deal with. Momoshiki is one of the biggest influences of character development for Boruto. Momoshiki has to be Boruto's mountain to climb, and it shouldn't be that easy to get rid of him. The narrative payoff for Boruto dealing with Momoshiki on his own is that he is going to become more mature as a character and also as a shinobi. It is going to be a chance for Boruto to have a self-introspection moment and tackle all of his fears surrounding Momoshiki and being a vessel for an Otsutsuki. This way Boruto will be more appreciative of his journey and be able to accept the part of him that is now Boruto Otsutsuki and no longer Boruto Uzumaki. That might also be the moment that Boruto is going to start using his Otsutsuki power like his karma, instead of just relying on his shinobi powers. And he is going to need his Otsutsuki powers if he is going to go up against the Kawaki from the time skip scene, who seems like a more powerful and formidable version of Kawaki. He is also going to need this power if he is going to deal with the Ten Tails and achieve his goal of restoring the Uzumaki clan. So tell me what y'all think about Kashin Koji's Prescience ability and whether or not you think he saw Boruto's arrest happening and he has a plan to rescue him. Also let us know how you think this ability is going to be used to finally defeat the Shinju and get rid of the Ten Tails permanently. Subscribe to the channel for more Boruto content and check out this video on how Boruto and Kashin Koji created the Rasengan Uzuhiko, especially with chapter 13 confirming that Kashin Koji is the one that taught Boruto all the jutsu that made him as strong as he is currently in the time skip.